Greetings! Mandatory79 here, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Cardfight Vanguard Dear Days Part 20. Alright, let's get started. Pressing the A button now. Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu. So for those of you who have watched my previous video, I had spent that time progressing further into the game's main story. And now in today's video, my objective is to more or less explain and display and later test out the newly acquired Stoicheia Nations D Trial Deck 01 Urara Haneyama, Bandmaster of the Blossoming Bonds. So first up, let's go to Edit Deck menu. And here we are. So like I just mentioned before, what I'm doing today's video is to more or less display and explain the cards in the D Trial Deck 01 and then later test it out. So first, let's head on to the Edit Deck menu, entering the Edit Deck. Here we are. And so, first off, let's start off the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s in this deck, it's playing Ride Deck, Grade 3, Bandmaster of Blossoming Bonds, Leonore. Skills for skill, continuous. When this card will be ridden upon, it is also regarded as Grand March of Full Bloom, Leonore. And second skill, auto. As a Vanguard, when this unit attacks, cost Soul Blast 1 and discard a card from your hand. And if the cost when paid, boost this unit if all of your back row standing units with boost. If you boosted this unit with 3 or more units, this unit gets drive +1 until end of battle. And at the end of the battle, choose 2 of your back row rear guards and restand them. And the third skill, continuous. As a rear guard, during the battle this unit is boosted, this unit gets +5,000 power. So for Leonore, it's the main Grade 3 to ride this deck. Its first skill, when this card be written top of, it is also regarded as a Grand March of Full Bloom Leonore. So this more or less makes any card you ride on it a Leonore as well. So second skill, when attacking by paying the cost of Soul Blast 1, discard 1, you have the option of using all of your back row units to boost your Vanguard Leonore, thus stacking more power into your Vanguard. And the best part is, if you manage to boost with 3 or more units from the back row for your Vanguard Leonore, you get drive +1, and at the end of the battle, you get to restand 2 of those back row rear guards. So for Leonore, it's a good way to stack more power onto your Vanguard and to still get another +1 drive to increase the chances of getting a trigger or to increase your hand size with. And to later, at the end of the battle, you get to restand 2 of those rear guards so that you'll still be able to boost the rear guards in your left and right column. And the third skill, whenever your rear guard Leonore is boosted, it gets +5,000 power. So ideally, it's possible that with a Grade 1 boosting your rear guard Leonore in the rear guard, your Leonore can turn into a potential, more or less a 26,000 power attacker in one column. So for Bandmaster of Blossoming Bonds Leonore, we got 4 in the deck, 1 the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 3 Groovy Dragon, skill, auto. As a rear guard, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if your back row has 3 or more rear guards, counterblast 1. If the cost from hate, this unit gets +10,000 power until the end of battle. So for Groovy Dragon, it's a pretty basic but pretty useful card to play in this trial deck. Just by attacking the opponent's Vanguard with 3 more back row units by paying a mere counterblast of 1, Groovy Dragon can serve as a potential 23,000 point attacker all by himself with this skill. So for Groovy Dragon, we've got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 3 Clapping Dragon, skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the front row rear guard circle from hand, if your back row has 3 or more units, cost, counterblast 1. If the cost from hate, draw a card. And if your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets +10,000 power until end of turn. So for Clapping Dragon, another basic but pretty useful card to play in this trial deck. It's skill just by calling it from your hand to the front row rear guard circle with at least 3 or more units in the back row. Just by paying the cost, not only can you restock your hand with more cards, but as long as the conditions are fulfilled, you can also give 10,000 power to Clapping Dragon, making Clapping Dragon a 23,000 point attacker for the front row, all by himself. So for Clapping Dragon, you've got 2 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 3 Normal Order, Fun Marching, skill, order, play with a Soul Blast of 1. If the cost from hate, all of your Grade 1 or less rear guards get +5,000 power until end of turn. So for Fun Marching, it's a pretty okay order card to play, especially in this trial deck. Just by paying a mere Soul Blast of 1, all Grade 1 or less units gets +5,000 power. So pretty much any Grade 1 unit in your front row or Grade 1 unit in the back row can give you some decent attacks or boosts in the back row. So for fun marching, we got 2 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s in this deck, we're playing right deck, Brilliant Tune, Rectina, skill. For skill auto, when this unit is written upon by a unit with Leonore in its card name, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost from hate, choose a Grade 1 or less card from your drop zone and call to rear guard circle. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard. If your back row has 3 or more rear guards, this unit gets boost. So for Rectina, she's the main Grade 2 to run this deck. Her skill, just by riding a Leonore card on top of her, by paying the Soul Blast of 1, you have the chance to select any Grade 1 or less unit from your drop zone and call to rear guard circle, thus securing yourself a potential attacker or booster from the back row. And the second skill, as long as you've got 3 or more back row units in your rear guard, a Rectina on your field can serve as a boost 10,000 point booster from the back row. So for Rectina, we got 1 in the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 2 Upbeat Dragon. Skill auto, when this unit intercepts, if your back row has 2 or more Grade 1 or less rear guards, this unit gets plus 10,000 in shield until end of battle. So for Upbeat Dragon, a pretty decent to use card in this trial deck. Just by intercepting, by fulfilling the conditions having 2 or more Grade 1 or less rear guards, Upbeat Dragon can serve as a potential 15,000 point shield all by himself. So for Upbeat Dragon, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s in this deck, we're playing right deck, Grade 1, Budding of Pleasant Sounds, Gracia. Skills for skill auto. When this unit is written upon by Brilliant Tune Rectina, you may call this card to the rear guard circle. Second skill, continuous as a rear guard. During the battle, this unit boosts the Vanguard. This unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Gracia, she's the main Grade 1 to run this deck. Her first skill, just by riding Rectina on top of her, you'll be able to superior call her from your soul to the rear guard, thus securing yourself a Rectina to potentially attack or boost her from the back row. And the second skill, whenever she boosts the Vanguard, she can get plus 5,000 power, so Gracia can serve as a potential 13,000 point booster from the back row for your Vanguard's attack later on. So for Gracia, we got 1 in the right deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1, Hopeful Maiden, Alejandra, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Skills for skill, continuous Sentinel, you may have only up to 4 cards with continuous Sentinel on deck. Second skill, auto, when this unit is put on the Guardian Circle, discard a card from your hand. If the cost from hate, choose from your units. It cannot be hit until the end of the battle. So for Alejandra, she's a perfect guard for the Stoicaea Nation decks. For skill, like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, if you choose the same skill and activation, when used to guard with, by discarding a card from your hand, you can completely block 1 enemy attack. So for Alejandra, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1 Yield Elf. Skill action as a rear guard once per turn. If your Vanguard is a Grade 3 or greater, counterblast 2. If the cost from hate, draw a card. So for Yield Elf, it's a pretty basic but okay card in this trial deck. As long as you meet the conditions of having a Grade 3 or higher Vanguard, as long as you don't mind paying a counterblast of 2, you can draw an extra card to potentially increase your hand or to get more options later on. So for Yield Elf, you got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1 Lively Rhythm Biara. Skill auto as a rear guard. When the attack this boosted unit hits a Vanguard, cost, put a Grade 2 or less card from your hand to soul, draw a card. So for Biara, it's a pretty basic but okay card to play in the trial deck. Her skill, just by boosting a successful attack to the opponent's Vanguard, as long as you don't mind putting any Grade 2 or less card from your hand to soul, you can draw a card. So this card is a good way to potentially increase your soul for more soul blast later on and to more or less increase your hand size ever so slightly. So for Biara, we got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1 Knight of Pure Theodore. Skill auto, when this card is discarded from hand during your right phase, you may call this card to rear guard circle. So for Theodore, it's a pretty good card to play in your trial deck. For its skill, just by discarding it for the right deck cost, you can call to the rear guard circle. Thus, as long as you're fortunate enough to have a Theodore in hand to pay for your right deck cost later on, you can secure Theodore as a 6,000 point booster from the back row. So for Theodore, we got 3 in the deck, leaving it that way. And now for the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0 says that we're playing right deck, Grade 0, announcing Wind of Spring, Corfi. Skill auto, when this unit is written upon, if you went second, draw a card. So for Corfi, it's the starting unit of his deck. It's skilled just by riding a top of him. If you went second, draw a card. So for Corfi, you've got one to ride deck, leaving it that way. And next up, the trigger lineup. For the triggers in his deck we're playing, the Great Zero, Melodia, Pomera, critical trigger. We got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Great Zero, Symbol Hamster, draw trigger. We got 4 in the deck, leaving it that way. The Great Zero, Prominent Elf, front trigger. We got 3 in the deck, leaving it that way. And next, the Great Zero, Flowery Tone, heal trigger. Got 4 in the deck, leaving it there. And finally, the Great Zero, Spiritual Queen of Determination, Olbaria, over trigger. Skill trigger, additional effect. Choose one of your units. It gets plus 100 million power until end of turn. So for Olbaria, it's pretty much a generic over trigger to be played in any nation. Like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card. But it also features an ability unique to it alone. When revealed during a drive check on your turn, you can choose one of your units, your Vanguard or Rearguard, and give it 100 million power. So for Olbaria, with its own skill and its own over trigger activation, is the potential to add 100 million power to 2 units or 200 million power to a single one. So for Olbaria, we've got 1 the deck, leaving it that way. Okay, deck's been built, card is explained, so let's get on to saving the deck. Okay, and next up, for the cards in this deck, we're using 4 Grade 3 Bandmaster of Blossoming Bonds, Leonord. 1 Grade 2 Brilliant Tune, Rectina. 1 Grade 1 Budding of Pleasant Sounds, Gracia. 1 Grade 0 Announcing Wind of Spring, Corfi, starting unit. 4 Grade 3 Ruby Dragon. 4 Grade 2 Upbeat Dragon. 4 Grade 1 Yield Elf. 4 Grade 1 Lively Rhythm, Viara. 3 Grade 1 Knight of Pure, Theodore. 2 Grade 3 Clapping Dragon. 2 Grade 3 Fun Marching. 4 Grade 1 Hopeful Maiden, Alejandra. And for the trigger line of this deck, the triggers in this deck we're playing: 4 Critical Triggers, 4 Draw Triggers, 3 Front Triggers, 4 Heal Triggers, and 1 Over Trigger, Olbaria. Alright, deck built, Cardfight explained. Now let's get on to testing out the deck, but first up, let's just go to change sleeves. For the card sleeves, we're using okay then. For the sleeves in this deck, we're using the Team Blackout Black sleeve is the main deck sleeve, press A. And the Team Blackout White sleeve is the right deck sleeve, press Y. Okay, deck built, card first explained, and card sleeves changed. Now it's time to test out the deck, so leaving the edit deck menu, returning to main menu, going to fight menu, and CPU fight. Selecting deck, selecting the D Trial Deck 01. And now choosing an opponent to test the deck out on. Okay, who would be a good choice to use this deck against? Okay, then using it against Masaru Kita, normal difficulty. And the battle begins. Get started. So first, let's decide who goes first in the game. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock the paper, I lose, going second. Okay. Draw starting hands. I got a Great 1, Biara, a critical trigger, a Theodore, a Leonore, and a Fret trigger. Okay, let's see. I should hold on to the Grade 2 to Persona right with, and Theodore to use for the right that costs. I can keep Biara to later attack or boost with, so I guess I'll just send the triggers back and redraw. Okay, got perfect guard and an upbeat dragon. Nice. My opponent's turn. He goes first. He rides. Deep Sonicer. Skill Sonicer. He soul charges. Barrel Madness. Nice. One less card to Persona right with. My turn. I draw. Alright, I'm gonna ride my right deck. Budding of Pleasant Sounds. Gracia. For the right deck cost, I'm gonna discard Theodore to use its skill. Right, Gracia. Theodore's. Wait, my Corpy skill. I draw a card. I draw a critical trigger and Theodore's skill. Superior Call to the rear guard. Call. Okay, and now. Okay, then I'm going to call. I'm going to move Theodore to the front, and I'm calling Biara to the rear guard. Call. Alright. Go into battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. 8k. The attack goes through. Drive check. Yeah. Heal trigger. I give all effects to rear guard, but nothing to heal. My attack is secured. 1 damage. Bloom. Damage check. No trigger. Safe. Okay. Boosted by Biara. Theodore attacks the Vanguard. 24k. The attack goes through and pierce. Damage check. Ah! Draw trigger. No! He draws a card. Okay. That's the end of my turn. Should I use Biara's skill? Nope, I should hold on to my hand for the time being. Not gonna use Biara's skill. Alright, it's my opponent's turn. He rides the Grade 2 Electro Spartan. He calls Engraver, okay. Vanguard the Vanguard. Let the attack go through, no guard. He drive checks a. Ah, critical trigger, come on! Critical to Vanguard and power to the rear guard. Alright, here comes 2 damage. Ow! Damage check first. Yes, front trigger, power to the front row. And second check. No trigger, okay. Here comes an attack from Engraver. Okay, Engraver skill. When its attack hits, it'll soul charge 1, so I should avoid that. I'll guard with a card from my hand. I'll guard with the heal trigger I revealed in my previous turn. Guard, 33k. Attack blocked. And safe. That's the end of my opponent's turn. It's my turn. I stand and draw. Okay, gonna ride for my right deck. Brilliant Tune Rectina. For the right deck cost, let's see. I got a Leonore, a Perfect Guard, an Upbeat, a Clapping, a Critical, and a Biara. Okay, I should hold on to Leonore to Persona right with, and Alejandra the Perfect Guard with, so I should definitely hold on to the Grade 2 and 3 to attack with later, so my choices are either ditch a Critical or Biara. I already got 1 Biara in my rear guard, so I should hold on to Critical to guard with, so I'll just ditch the copy of Biara in my hand to ride from the right deck. Rectina, Gracia skill, Superior Call from the soul to the rear guard, to the center column, here. Next, I'm calling Upbeat Dragon to the rear guard. Okay, that should be enough. Going to battle phase. First up, my rear guard Upbeat attacks the rear guard Engraver. Alright, 1 rear guard down. Now boosted by Biara, my Theodore attacks the Vanguard, 14k. My opponent does not guard, okay. Pierce, 1 damage. Damage check. Ah, draw trigger, come on! Trigger effects added, he draws a card. Boosted, not gonna activate Biara's skill. Boosted by Gracia, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. Skill activated, plus 5,000 power, 23k. The attack goes through, drive check. No trigger. Okay, and Bloom, 1 damage. Damage check. Ah, over trigger, come on! He draws a card and nullifies the damage. Okay, that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. He rides the grade 3, Master of Gravity, Barrel Magnus. Skill of Spartan, he adds a card to hand and soul charges. He got a critical and draw, okay. He calls up Clumsy Assistant and soul charges. He calls Curtis. Soul charging again. Okay, he's got 10 or more cards in soul. Okay, he can use Barrett Magnus' skill to add power and critical. I should block that at all costs, so I guess I'll let Curtis, his attack, go through. Alright, no guard, take the attack. Here it comes. Out. Damage check. No trigger, okay. Next up, the Vanguard to Vanguard. Here it comes, Barrett Magnus' skill. He's drawing a card, adding power and critical, okay. Alright, okay, what would be a good choice? Alright, then I'll Perfect Guard this attack. Can't take any chances. For the Perfect Guard cost, I'm gonna ditch a Yield Elf for the cost. Perfect Guard. Attack blocks. Twin Drive from my opponent. First check. No trigger. Grade 3. Safe. Second check. No trigger. Safe. Okay. And okay. Safe. Now his grade 1 will attack my rear guard. I can't afford to ditch any more cards in my hand. I'll just let him take out my Theodore. And Theodore's down. Sorry. Alright. My turn, stand and draw. Ah, my over trigger came out. Seriously? Whatever, I'm gonna ride my right deck. Bandmaster of Blossoming Bonds Leonorn. For the right deck cost, let's see. I should hold on to the Leonorn, the Persona right with. The over trigger, I should hold on to it to prevent my opponent from knowing I draw it. So, ditch either Clapping Dragon or a critical trigger. I need more attackers in my front row, so I'll just hold on to Clapping Dragon. I'll ditch the critical for the right deck cost. Right. Bandmaster of Blossoming Bonds, Leonorn. Rectina's skill. Soul Blast 1. And Superior Call a card from my drop zone. I'm Superior Calling a... Yield Elf to the rear guard. Call. Next up, I call Clapping Dragon to the rear guard. Clapping Dragon skill, Counterblast 1. Draw a card and add power. Okay, got a Biara, not bad. Next, activate Yield Elf skill, Counterblast 2 more. Draw an extra card. Okay, I got a Groovy Dragon. Not bad. Alright, that should be all I can do for the time being. Going to battle phase. Should I use my Vanguard skill? I guess I should. Gotta pressure my opponent, so I'm gonna attack with Bandmaster of Blossoming Bonds, Leonorn. To the Vanguard. Leonorn's skill, I Soul Blast 1 and discard a card. I'm discarding. Should I discard Biara or Groovy Dragon? There's still a chance I can use Biara's skill to add to the soul and draw, so I already got Clapping Dragon, but Groovy Dragon can serve as a powerful attacker. This is a tough choice. I guess I'll ditch the grade 3 Groovy Dragon to secure my Biara. Alright, Leonorn's skill. Boost of all back row units. Drive +1 and total 37k, 42k. Perfect Guard, not good. He discards a Selfish Engraver for the cost. Triple drive, first check, no trigger. Second check. Yes, draw trigger. I give all effects to Upbeat Dragon, draw a card. I draw heal trigger, okay. Third check. Yes! Draw trigger again! I give all effects to... Clapping Dragon. Drew another heal trigger, okay. Attack blocked. At the end of the battle, stand 2 of my rear guards. I stand, let's see. The 2 in the left and right columns, restand. Alright, now continuing the battle phase, boosted by Yielding Elf, my Upbeat Dragon attacks the Vanguard, 28k. The attack goes through and slam, 1 damage. Critical trigger, come on, this timing. Okay, next boosted by Biara, clapping attacks the Vanguard, 41k. The attack goes through and root, damage check. Yes, critical trigger, he wasted a trigger. Trigger effects wasted. And I'm gonna use Biara's skill. I take a grade 1 or less card in my hand to the soul. I put a draw trigger in and draw a card. I drew a Leonore, nice, another Persona Ride. My opponent's turn. He's using Curtis' skill to add power to the front row. Okay. He calls another Curtis, so charging more cards. Okay. Alright, rear guard Curtis next to Vanguard. His Vanguard Barrel Magnets again is secured to add power and critical again. Gotta block that at all costs, so I'll let the rear guard attack go through. No guard. Here it comes. Ow! Damage check. No trigger. Okay. Here comes Barrel Magnus. Here comes Barrel Magnus' skill. He's going to counterblast and draw a card, adding power and critical. 28k, 2 criticals to the Vanguard. Okay, gotta block at all costs. So my opponent already revealed his over trigger early, so don't have to worry about that. So I'll just block with a heal trigger and intercept with intercept with Upbeat Dragon, guard and intercept, Upbeat skill plus 10,000 shield, total 43k. 2 to pass. I can't risk my opponent getting a double critical, double trigger at this point, so I'll guard with another draw trigger. No, wait. Guarding with a draw trigger and a Biara, 53k, so none to pass. The attack is blocked. Twin Drive first check, no trigger, safe. And second check, no trigger, safe, okay. And attack blocked. Now here comes my opponent's Vanguard attack. 26k in total. Alright, guard with a heal trigger, 28k. I should hold off my damage a bit. Guard. And attack blocked, safe. And then my opponent's turn, my turn, stand and draw. Okay, I Persona Ride Leonore. Persona Ride, power added, draw a card, drew a heal trigger, okay. I call Upbeat Dragon to the rear guard. Alright, that's about all I can do for the time being, so just going to the battle phase. Alright, Leonore unboosted attacks the Vanguard. Leonore's skill, I Soul Blast 1. And to discard a card, I'll discard a front trigger from my hand to activate Leonore's skill. Boost with all rear guards in the back row. With 3 more boosting, drive plus 1 for 52k. He uses most of his hand, 73. Over trigger to pass, first check. No trigger, and second check. No trigger. And third check. No trigger, okay. The attack does not go through. And then after attacking, Leonore's skill, stand 2 rear guards. I stand the 2 rear guards in my left and right column. Restand. Now boosted by Yield Elf, Upbeat Dragon attacks the Vanguard, 28k. My opponent double guards. 33k, okay. The attack does not go through. Now one more attack, boosted by Urara, clapping attacks the Vanguard, 31k. Yes, the attack goes through, and boom! Damage check. No trigger. Alright, 6 damage, I win. Not too bad. I think the trial deck worked out pretty well. I got to try out my Vanguard skill and some of the other cards in the deck, so I got win, double trigger, attack 50,000 more power, perfect guarded, opponent drew an over trigger, did a persona right, 6 turns passed, did a superior call, retired 5 opposing units and drew 3 or more times in 1 turn, got 2800 BP, 10,625 total BP, press A to go next. Leaving the fight, returning to fight menu. Leaving the fight menu, return to main menu. Back to the main menu to edit deck menu, and so the deck has been built, Cardfight explained, and I just tested out the deck in front of you. So with that, that's all the time we have for today. So first off, I want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye and see you all soon.